Hello, my name's Todd Coleman, and I'm the Director of Employee Relations in Human Resources. I want to take this time to thank you for taking time away from your busy schedules to review this discrimination and harassment in the workplace presentation. It is important for supervisors and managers to have an overview of this information should you be tasked with addressing these types of issues. However, please contact Human Resources for any assistance or guidance if needed. Let's begin by discussing the definition of discrimination. Discrimination is conduct or actions based on race, color, religion, sex to include sexual orientation, gender to include transgender status or gender identity, national origin, age being 40 or older, and disability, whether mental or physical, in violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Discrimination is actions that are severe or pervasive enough to create a hostile, abusive, or intimidating work environment for a reasonable person. It should be based on legitimate factors such as performance, attendance, and skills. Also, similar actions or behaviors may be considered harassment when done by a coworker. However, if supervisors or managers fail to take corrective actions, it can become discrimination. Let's discuss the definition of harassment, which is an illegal form of discrimination. Harassment is discrimination that violates Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It's considered unwelcome verbal or physical conduct based on a person's race, color, religion, sex, gender, national origin, age, and disability. It's severe, pervasive, and persistent conduct that unreasonably interferes with an employee's work performance or creates an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment. As we continue with the term harassment, also note that it is a violation of the law to retaliate against an employee who reports harassment or discrimination, or who participates in an investigation following a report of harassment or discrimination. The district prohibits retaliation against an employee who makes a claim alleging to have experienced discrimination or harassment, or another employee who, in good faith, makes a report, serves as a witness, or otherwise participates in an investigation. Additionally, if an employee is punished or subjected to an adverse employment action for making a complaint or participating in an investigation, this is considered retaliation. Why is it important to prevent harassment in the workplace? Because the district expectations and core values. Because compliance with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits this form of discrimination. And because of district liability. So I'll ask again, why is this information important? As a district, the expectation is employee excellence, and one of our core values is to treat all employees with respect and dignity. Engaging in or condoning or not reporting any type of harassment is in direct conflict with our values. In addition, it is a violation of federal, state, and fair employment laws that mandate compliance. Subsequently, it can result in civil litigation for the district if a supervisor or manager is found to be responsible for the harassment of an employee that resulted in a tangible employment action. And what that means by tangible employment action, some examples are transfer, demotion, reduction in pay, change in work duties, and termination, to name a few. Now let's discuss some of the protected classes as it relates to harassment. These types of behaviors constitute harassment if that conduct creates an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment and it prohibits an employee from performing his or her job. We'll start out with race and color. Treating an employee unfavorably because he or she is of a certain race or because of personal characteristics associated with race, such as hair, texture, skin color, or certain facial features. Color discrimination involves treating someone unfavorably because of skin color complexion. Treating someone unfavorably because the person is married to or associated with a person of a certain race or color. Also, discrimination can occur when the victim and the person who inflicted the discrimination are the same race or color. Next on our list of protected classes is religion. Harassment based on religion occurs when an employee is antagonized or ridiculed because of his or her religious beliefs, or when a coworker or supervisor preaches or proselytizes or attempts to convert an employee to their religious beliefs, but the information is unwanted or unwelcome by the employee. This also creates a hostile work environment. To avoid claims of religious harassment, the district must reasonably accommodate an employee's sincerely held religious practices. Next on our list of protected classes is sex. Treating an employee unfavorably because of that person's sex. Discrimination against an individual because of gender identity, including transgender status, or because of sexual orientation is discrimination because of sex in violation of Title VII. Harassment can include sexual harassment or unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical harassment of a sexual nature. Harassment does not have to be of a sexual nature, however, and can include offensive remarks about a person's sex. Both victim and the harasser can be either a woman or a man, and the victim and harasser can be the same sex. The harasser can be the victim's supervisor, a supervisor in another area, a coworker, or someone who is not an employee of the district, such as a contractor or a vendor. Next on our list of protected classes are national origin, disability, and age. National origin is discriminating because of birthplace, ancestry, culture, or linguistic characteristics that are common to a specific ethnic group. Disability. The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, prohibits workplace discrimination based on disability. Age. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act, ADEA, forbids age discrimination against people who are age 40 or older. Next on our list of protected classes are veteran status, genetic information, and citizenship. Veteran status. The Vietnam Era Veterans Readjustment Assistance Act protects veterans from being denied employment, harassed, demoted, terminated, paid less, or treated less favorably because of their veteran status. Genetic information. Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act prohibits harassment based on information about an individual's genetics test and the genetic tests of an individual's family members. Citizenship. U.S. citizens, nationals, asylees, refugees, recent lawful permanent residents are protected from citizenship status discrimination. District policies regarding harassment. Northeast ISD board policy prohibits harassment in each of the following policies: DIA local, DIA legal, DGBA local, FFH legal, DAA legal, FB legal. Please use these policies as a resource. Let's discuss your responsibilities as supervisors and managers. Familiarize yourself with district policy and comply with district protocol and procedures. Immediately report any incident you witness or any complaint that you receive from an employee to the Executive Director of Human Resources. Let's continue with the responsibilities as a supervisor. As supervisors and managers, once you become aware of a complaint of harassment, you must act immediately. When handling harassment complaints from employees, please demonstrate your willingness to hear and objectively discuss complaints. Inform the employee that you must report all complaints to the Executive Director of Human Resources. Advise the employee that confidentiality will be respected to the extent possible, but cannot be guaranteed to properly investigate the complaint. Continuing with responsibilities as supervisors. When handling harassment complaints from employees, do not object if an employee prefers to or bypasses the standard chain of command. Respond to an employee's complaint as soon as possible. Do not engage in retaliation against an employee who complains of harassment. Make yourself available and provide as much information as possible. Also, make employees available for interview. Once you've concluded the investigation and determined that disciplinary action is warranted, consult with the Executive Director of Human Resources to ensure that the victim or complainant is not adversely affected and that the harassment stops and does not recur. Before we close out this presentation, I'd like to share some additional information. Title VII and Title IX are laws used to combat discrimination. Title VII protects individuals in the workplace, and Title IX covers educational activities and institutions. Congress enacted Title VII to empower individuals with judicial redress for employment discrimination. Congress enacted Title IX as a reaction to sex discrimination in educational programs and to empower federal agencies that provide funds for educational institutions to terminate funding upon a finding of employment discrimination. Once again, I'd like to thank you for your attention and thank you for allowing me to provide this information to you. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact me in Human Resources. Have a great day.